Cancer is an ugly disease. It tortures people to death. My name is Stephen Albert Johnston. My colleagues and I at Calvary, my company, want to end cancer's reign of death and torture and disruption, and to do it worldwide. We have some very good news to report to you in that regard. But first, the bad news. The cancer field and cancer effort is from the clinicians to the academics to the researchers to the foundations and especially the pharma companies and government are in a dysfunctional rut. This could best be represented by a recent report from a major drug company who completed a clinical trial that had failed. They had spent over $2 billion developing this drug for late-stage lung cancer and had hoped to get a 4-month extension of life out of this development. Instead, they only got 0.07 months. This is what the cancer field is developing. If this represents the cancer, if this is a representative of the cancer community's war on cancer, they do not know anything about waging war. They are doing the equivalent of not attacking an enemy until they've taken the hill, put in fortifications, and brought in reinforcements. I can guarantee you that this will not work. A late-stage tumor is an enemy just like anything else. It has been evolving for years. It consists of billions of cells and has built a stealthy mechanism and is manipulating the victim's own immune system. The cancer community has focused on late-stage tumors, and this is illogical. It will continue to fail. Now, 27% of all the public believes that the cancer pharmas have found the cure for cancer, but are withholding it. I can guarantee you that this is not the case. They are continuing in the rut of spending 90% of their efforts on trying to treat late-stage cancers because they suffer from the illogical constraints and have convinced the public of the same illogic. This is a classic manifestation of Gödel's incompleteness theorem. To paraphrase Gödel, if people adhere to a given set of logic premises and keep repeating them to themselves and to others, they cannot break out into new visions. They're stuck in that logical trap. The cancer community is locked into thinking these kinds of truths. Every tumor is different, therefore the treatment needs to be personal. So let's make personalized medicine, let's have personal cancer vaccines. Tumors are complex, so we need more money, a lot more money, to study and sequence them. We need to discover more drug targets, and then more expensive drugs and treatments for them. Tumors are evolving, so let's study their evolution, and so people can learn to live with cancer as a chronic disease, which demands, of course, lifelong drugs. The core of their logic leads to more drugs and more expenses. Academics are training students to become oncologists and professors of oncology, which implies that they expect to do this for generations. Clearly, they do not see the situation changing. What makes this logical rut even more reprehensible is that it will not lead to treatments for people in low and middle income countries. 70% of the 10 million cancer deaths that occur worldwide each year occur in low and middle income countries. Now, of those, in those countries, people certainly can't afford to take a $100,000 Keytruda treatment. Parenthetically, I don't think there should be any award given for any advance in cancer that does not address cancer worldwide. Fortunately, there is a way out of the Gödel hole. The cancer community is in it, and they're stuck in it, but there's a way out. And the way out is very simple. What we propose is let's make a vaccine to prevent people from getting cancer in the first place. Treat cancer like an infectious disease and give people a vaccine before the tumor gets going and has the advantage. We set out to try and accomplish this goal over 15 years ago. Our good news is that we can now report that we have shown that it can be done. we can make a preventative cancer vaccine that broadly is protective. We could make this, and it could be off the shelf, so available to the worldwide population. Now, the requirements to make a preventive cancer vaccine are quite simple. First, you need to find targets in the tumor that the immune system will recognize and make it seem that it's foreign to the immune system. These are called neoantigens. And since you want a single vaccine to give to everyone, you have to find the neoantigens that are shared between tumors and between different people with tumors. Finally, you need to give this vaccine before the tumor starts. Just like in infectious disease, you have to give the vaccine before you get infected. Now, neoantigens are readily found by the cancer community from sequencing thousands, tens of thousands of tumors for their DNA. But the problem is all those neoantigens are personal. They only exist in this person with that tumor. So they're not shared. Therefore, the cancer community is focused on making preventative vaccines that are personal. They have to take your tumor, sequence it, and then make it something just for you. This is only applicable to late-stage tumors, and it will cost $100,000 for each treatment. However, we discovered that there were shared neoantigens if you search the RNA rather than the DNA. It was very hard to find these, but we did, and we showed that in principle, in mouse models, it was possible to make a vaccine to prevent cancer across different tumor types. We even had to invent a new technology merging Intel's chip-making capabilities with peptide chemistry in order to make the searches for these vaccine components feasible. But we did it. It was a lot of work. We were ready to try this concept of a preventative vaccine in humans, and we thought that we would, even though it was high risk to do this endeavor, that we would get strong support to do so. Particularly when you looked what the cancer community was doing and the potential gains of what we were proposing. Recall, they're pursuing drugs that give a 4-month life extension. However, we could get no support. Instead, we got none, zippo. No funding from the National Cancer Institute, no interest of academics or clinicians. We were waved off by all the cancer foundations. There was even an editorial published saying that we should stop our work because everybody knew you couldn't make such a vaccine, so we were raising false hopes. So what did we do? We literally went to the dogs. Dogs get cancer at the same rates humans do, 30% lifetime risk. Many dog cancers resemble human cancers almost exactly. There are over 6 million dog cancers a year in the United States, while there's only 2 million people cancers in the United States. Dog tumors advance about 5 times faster than human tumors do. So it looks like a perfect situation to test our vaccine. And in fact, we had no trouble finding leading canine oncologists that were glad, unlike their human counterparts, to work with us. And a Facebook-funded foundation, Open Philanthropy, decided to take a risk. They later thought there was a 1 in 10,000 probability of success, but they decided to do it anyway and supported us to do a dog trial of our preventative cancer vaccine. So in 2019, we started a trial. We enrolled 800 owners-owned dogs that were 5 years or older, and we screened them first to make sure that they didn't have cancer. This was a double-blinded, triple-blinded if you count the dogs, a trial. One arm was given the vaccine, the other arm was a control, given a mock vaccine. And we tested the dogs every 6 months to see if they had any cancer. The trial will end in May 2024. But this year, it was clear that the dogs that were effectively vaccinated had 45% reduction in the incidence of tumors and deaths from cancers. I can't emphasize this enough. This means it is possible to make a vaccine to prevent cancer in dogs. We know we can make the vaccine better. We've learned a lot over the last 5 years. But the bottom line is the Goodell trap has been broken. You don't have to live with cancer forever. We expect the human version of this vaccine to work as well or better because human tumors grow much slower than dog tumors. There will still be an uphill battle to get a preventative vaccine widely used, even in dogs, let alone people, but you can help though. Whenever you talk to someone in the cancer community, ask them if they've heard that a preventative vaccine works, and are they doing anything to make it happen faster? One way or another, with your help, we can end cancer worldwide.